Years SEO. You've helped us with the migration of our website.
Hi guys, and welcome to the Business as Unusual show. It is Wednesday. We are halfway through the week. I hope everybody is doing okay. There's a bit of rain where I am at the moment, which is a nice change, but it also feels like the summer's slowly coming to an end, which is slightly concerning. So let's have a look at what's been going on this week. So first up, it's a week that's seen the strongest COVID-19 symptoms clarified as a sudden loss of smell. In other exciting news, I have built this tree house. I've also got a cold. I managed to get a cold, and that is from a friend's child that they shouldn't have brought around to my house. And if you're watching, you know who you are, and it's super annoying. But I still managed to build this tree house that is in action. We have also seen commuters face a 1.6% inflation jump on all their fares in January, so that's going to be interesting. Speaking of travel, the UK government has said that hands-free driving could be on the UK roads by spring. I predict the world will be overrun by evil robots by the winter of 2021. You heard it here first. I hope you've missed me as much as I've missed you. I don't know what I'm doing now. It's been a week since I've been doing this, and already I'm kind of losing control of the situation. But I hope you've missed me as much as I've missed you guys. So let's get down to business as unusual. Hi guys, and welcome to the Business as Unusual show. If you're new to the show, my name is Luke. I'm the CEO of Sleeping Giant Media and Giant Campus. And if you're on our social channels, please do hang around, check out some of the other content. We're constantly pushing out videos to help you get started in your digital marketing or take your digital marketing to the next level. So please do check them out. Obviously, do say hi in chat as we go along as well. Please do put the comments in chat. We should across Facebook, YouTube and LinkedIn as well, and Twitter as well, so do feel free to say hi on those channels. We've got a fantastic guest, so without further ado, let's introduce Becky Simms. How are you doing, Becky?
Very good, thank you for having me, Luke.
Oh, it's great, and again, it's like, obviously, it's easy to get hold of people these days because actually it's unlikely that they're out and about as much as they were in the past, so no, it's great to have you on the show.
Brilliant, and that treehouse looked amazing.
Thank you. Yeah, I managed to kind of destroy my finger a little bit yesterday whilst I was making it last night, but yeah, it's getting there. It's coming together. I've got to add the safety features. I don't know if you noticed, there's no banister rails on it yet, so it's still quite dangerous at the moment for the kids, and they don't care. They're carrying on, but I don't want to be responsible for anyone falling off that one. Can you just do a bit of an introduction to yourself and the business so everybody knows sort of who you are, what you do?
Of course. So founder and CEO of Reflect Digital, so digital marketing agency, just coming up for our 10 years. And wow, Luke, you did set the bar high with how to celebrate 10 years. Was that last year?
That was two summers ago now. So you taking everyone to Ibiza this year, or are you is COVID a very, very convenient way to avoid that one?
I feel like COVID's just made it really difficult. Yeah. I have no idea what we're doing yet. Like, had this been normal world, we'd be definitely planned, and it would be something super amazing. But I just, I'm on the fence right now.
Absolutely. It's a tricky one. And it's a great cover story as well. You can just be like, no, I'm sorry, we can't do that planned trip to Disney World in America, unfortunately. So exciting. So when will the 10th anniversary be? Is it, what date is it?
February the 7th. So
Okay.
yeah, going to come around quick, I'm
Yeah,
sure.
really, that's exciting. Yeah. So how have the sort of, I know this is a big question, and we'll come into the sort of like the last couple of months, but how did it start? How did the business kind of get off the ground, and how have you found the last 10 years be? Are there sort of any notable moments that kind of really stand out?
Yeah, I think, and that's a big question.
It
We
is a
can
big
do
question.
half an hour on that. So,
Yeah.
yeah, well, my background was I'd kind of worked for a couple of agencies, and I'd always had this dream of running my own business. So my dad used to run his own business in IT security and software.
Mm,
From a little girl, I just dreamed that I'd be a business owner one day, and I think I fell into agency world, having done a number of different jobs, kind of all sales and marketing related,
mm.
and loved it. And then one day I finally was like, I'm just going to give it a go. And it really was a bit of a whim. There was no business plan. I didn't really know what I was doing, as many entrepreneurs probably can say. And it's been a massive learning curve,
Yeah.
but wow, what a journey. And
I
I
think
guess
if you know too much at the start, you probably wouldn't do it. I don't know I don't know how you found it. I think if you went into it knowing everything that you're about to get into, you probably talk yourself out of it so it's almost that naivety helps to a degree.
so true indeed. And I think, like, for us, probably the pivotal point was last year. Becoming part of the lab group was a really exciting moment, and joining something bigger so that we can go faster together.
Mm.
Obviously started to go faster together, then COVID hit, and we're back going faster, or nearly going faster again now. So
It's a bit sort of stop start, a bumpy road. But I guess
yeah.
that's I mean, I was chatting to somebody earlier actually, who's going to be joining the show on Friday. I think you were chatting as well today. But and yeah, Steve, and we were just saying that if it wasn't this, it's something else, isn't it? There's always something when it comes to running a business. There's always a challenge, isn't there?
Yeah, and wow, what a challenge to have lived through. I mean, there's not many business owners out there before us that, well, no one that's
No,
been
exactly.
safe
Yeah.
through a global pandemic. So I think, yeah, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger, doesn't it?
Absolutely. And then you use the word there, through this, to survive this. Do you think we're through this? Do you think we're past this? Do you think this is a bump and there's more bumps to come? How do you think the next? I know, again, big question. How do you think that's going to kind of pan out?
I think in our industry, I like to think we're through the worst of it, and I think
Mm,
even with more lockdowns, etc., I think being digital is a real strength, because it's the way forward for many businesses. So I think we're really lucky in that sense. I think for other businesses, there's probably more bumps to come, and I'm sorry for that. And I hope, like, we can help them reinvent ideas and take things digital that maybe might be the answer to some of the problems. But I like to think the big kind of whole country lockdown is over and done with, and we won't be back there. But who knows? I don't have a crystal ball,
it's
sadly.
unfortunate. I know we could definitely do with one because it is it's so difficult to understand what happens next. And again, I guess and sometimes the press isn't necessarily the news is difficult as well because actually you don't really see the most positive of stories. So it's quite challenging sometimes to actually know what kind of happens next. But there's as you say, certain sectors doing really really well. What sort of things So how's the last 3 months ish sort of been for you as a business? What were the initial stages of this kind of pandemic? How did that kind of look for you guys?
Yeah, it was a lot of clients needing to pause things, because I think we all did that. I think if you were
Yeah.
running a business and you weren't pausing stuff, then I don't know well, maybe you were working in healthcare, and you were
Mm,
really, but otherwise you were kind of just trying to take stock of what was going on. So then quite quickly we saw some clients coming back because they realized now was a good time for them, and actually they could make something of the situation, not in a kind of taking advantage of it way, but their business was a needed business.
mm,
And then there's other businesses that are still struggling, that aren't necessarily going to be quite back to where they were, or we're having to just relook at changing their messaging and changing their approach, and changing the way they do things. So it's definitely being a problem solver at heart.
yeah.
It's been a fun ride, I guess, in that sense,
Yeah. That's one word.
as a positive.
I like it. It's certainly positive. And again, I mean, well, we were sort of talking pre-show. What choices? I mean, the choices are either bury your head in the sand, hope for the best, but that generally doesn't work out too well. The other option being trying to see the opportunities and positivity, kind of in those situations.
Yeah, and I think it's all about just failing fast, like try something, like got to be doing something and trying to move forward. And that's what we tried to do for our clients. And I think most agencies out there were doing was just like, we'll give you our time, like talk to us about what's happening in your business and let's we can find a solution and help you out of this. So yeah, it's been fun in that sense. Like when you take away kind of the worry and the stress and all the bits that were out of our control, the bits that then you felt like you had control over was like, well, actually, there's something we can do here, and we can try and be positive.
Absolutely. Right. Let me jump into this because we have our tenuous link quiz, which producer Alex has kindly put together to test your knowledge relating to the word reflect. So yeah, it's not. We're not putting you through your paces, your SEO paces, your PPC paces right now, which I'm pleased to say because I would struggle. I'll leave that to the team. So question 1: according to Michael Jackson in Man in the Mirror, what must you do if you want to make the world a better place?
Oh, got to be take a look at yourself and make the change, hasn't it?
It's got to be. You got to look. You got to reflect. Moving on to question number 2. You're off to a flyer there, Becky. In Harry Potter, what does the mirror of Irzed? Someone's going to correct me in chat, I'm sure. Are you a Potter fan?
A little bit, but I don't remember this mirror, so this isn't going to go well.
Okay, so show is Dumbledore's deepest desire.
Oh, none of those sound like for a deep desire.
No, he's not ambitious, is it?
Bigger, couldn't he? Let's go a new hat.
New hat. It is, in fact, thick woolen socks.
Well, there you go. Yeah. Who knew?
Well, we now know, and this is exactly this is part of this educational journey that we are currently on. Question.
Didn't he just like magic up his socks?
I do, yeah. I mean, if as you said, it's not particularly ambitious, is it? I mean, it's like you could just surely buy some socks if you can't magic it for some reason. Just buy them. They're not, I don't know if they do have Amazon Prime there, but I'm sure they could get some sort of delivery. Anyway, we're moving on. Question number 3: which artist released the song Mirrors on their 2013 album, The 2020 Experience?
I feel like I know this, and I don't know if that's then going to be a good thing or a bad thing. I mean, it's good I get the credit if I get it right, but is it Justin Timberlake, maybe?
Oh, look at this. Superstar. Amazing. I do like Justin Timberlake, so...
It's a good claim, though, that's where my music sits.
That is true. That is true. I think that, I mean, he does some cool songs, so, I think we can like Justin, it's fine. Question number 4. What does the evil queen say to her mirror? Now, be careful with this one, is all I'm going to say. It's not quite what I thought it was, bearing in mind I read this story probably 2 or 3 times a week at the moment, and I still got this wrong.
So it's mirror, mirror on the wall, who is the fairest of them all?
See, that's what I thought, but apparently it's magic mirror on the wall. I'm not so sure about that one personally.
I mean, uprising. Let's
chat. If you can confirm that, please. Chat. If you can, someone's onto the interweb right now. If you can double check the accuracy of that, that would be much appreciated. Let's going on to the next one. What is catatrophophobia, the fear of?
Oh, I've never heard of it, but we're talking about reflections, aren't we? So is it a fear of your own reflection?
It is the fear of mirrors and reflections.
Oh.
Good work. Good logical deduction there. I like that. Impressive. So right. Well, you know your stuff. I'm still waiting for chat. Oh, apparently Alex says it's 100%. It's magic mirror on the wall. But I'm pretty sure that all the books that I've read recently to my children, it doesn't say magic mirror on the wall. But anyway.
I mean, it's 2 against 1 at the moment. It's us against Alex.
Absolutely.
So anyone else?
I think I'm going to give you the points for that one. I think you got 3 out of 5 in that one. So yeah, I disagree, Danny. You're out. We're on the show right now, so we've got control of that situation. What was the origin of the name? How did you kind of create the name?
Do you know what? It was so I was trying to name the agency and I never realized how hard that was going to be. And I was sitting on my sofa at home back years ago in my flat. So like years and years ago, well, 10 years ago. And I had a picture on the wall that I'd taken that I'd put onto a canvas of, it was near where my parents had got a place in Alicante. And it was just looking out to the sea. And there was just a beautiful reflection of the sun on the sea. And I was like, hold on a minute, that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to reflect businesses online. There's got to be that, and then landed Reflect Digital. So
amazing.
yeah.
I love it. I love the origin stories. I didn't know that, and thank you very much for sharing. That is awesome. No, I think it's a great name. I mean, it's a really important thing that people do, and also, and actually, I guess this recent situation has, for some people, given them the time to reflect on that situation and actually sort of decide what they do kind of next, which is quite cool.
It does end up as a pun quite often. So
yeah, I said it, and as I was saying, I was like, I don't mean to pun this, but yeah.
Oh, I do all the time, and I do mean to pun it.
Go with it. Just go with what works. We are unbelievably the halfway mark. Okay, we'll move to the future bit now, Becky. Okay, cool. So we are just going to be moving through into looking at kind of what comes next, and obviously we sort of talked about the challenge, and you said it's been a bumpy road, but things are looking like they're headed in the right direction, which is great. What sort of ideas or innovations have you seen, have you worked on that sort of has helped businesses to sort of reinvent? And we talk about the word pivot a lot, and as I said, I feel like this now, for once, the correct use of the word pivot has happened during the lockdown, during the kind of the last few months. But what sort of things have you been doing to kind of help businesses with that?
One of my favourite campaigns, actually, that literally was dreamt up in probably week one of lockdown, was with one of our clients, Simply Hops. So they manufacture hops or grow hops that go into beer, and they probably are in most beers in the world from their parent company. So Bathhouse Group is the wider group. And they came to us like week one of lockdown, and they were like, what are we going to do? Like, as Simply Hops, we look after craft. That's their kind of niche. And we can see craft brewers like having real problems and potentially going out of business with this. So they came up with this idea to create Beer Is Here. So we built a website and then a whole campaign that then went on for kind of 8 weeks of promoting Beer Is Here, and we got hundreds and hundreds. I don't know. I think it was in the thousands of local kind of beer manufacturers, breweries, or like wine or bottle shops to list themselves if they were able to deliver beer locally. And it was just really a directory of that, and then promoting it to try and get people to think about how to support local and how to support the kind of craft industry rather than just adding it on their Sainsbury's order, for example. So that was fun, and it was something that was really the benefit for them was, I suppose, helping save their industry, but it was more like, how can we help these businesses get money through the door now so that they're still here in the future? And yeah, it was just a really nice piece of work.
That's awesome, and I mean, it's great, good on them as well, in the sense of like the sort of the speed at which they moved, because I think a lot of businesses in that initial phase, quite rightly and quite expectedly, panicking because of the situation, almost trying to readjust, almost to a degree licking their wounds because everything's kind of gone crazy so quickly. But great to see that they were on the front foot to sort of come up with the idea to take it forward.
Yeah, and it was the right time, the right kind of messaging, and we just got it across all the press. Like, I don't think there was a kind of headline newspaper that we didn't hit with something. And yeah, it was great. And I think like we calculated that, I'm not going to remember the number, and Joe's going to be sitting there like really annoyed with me now. The number's phenomenal of like how much business it brought to the industry by the reach that we got. So, which is great, because it's nice to have done something that's that successful in also securing an industry's future, really.
And it helps as well, obviously, but as that client is that they're the thought leaders in that space. They didn't have to do that, but they did, and actually now it sets them up hopefully for the futures to be that kind of that kind of leader in their sector, and the people that people will go to as well. So there's that kind of long-term sort of benefit as well. Definitely. Oh, awesome. So one of the things that comes up, and I talk a lot about, is this situation has created sort of new habits. We've all had to sort of adapt and sort of create a new world that we currently live in. What are the things that you are looking to do to take forward? And we were sort of briefly talking about the office space, for example. What do you think the office space for you guys is going to look like in the next 6 to 12 months?
I think it's going to be a place for collaboration more so than somewhere people come every single day. I think we're just doing a team survey at the moment and have had most results back. And it's interesting. It seems most people are relatively on the same page that. Whereas actually at the beginning of lockdown, like a couple of weeks in, they were all like, oh, I hate working at home. I'm not enjoying it. I miss the office. Now, actually, I think they see the benefits of, okay, I think the office is there for something and for that collaboration and for getting out of home, and it's a good balance. But actually, for getting stuff done, being at home is really good. So I think for us, it's just going to be a real mix and giving people more flexibility to do work wherever they do their best work, I think is the way I'm kind of framing it to the team.
Yeah, absolutely. And do you think, I mean, in terms of cultural implications, like how do you think there will be any, and how do you sort of anticipate trying to sort of manage and sort of adapt that culture to that sort of balance of working from home, working from the office?
Yeah, it's an interesting one, isn't it? We've done a lot across Slack, and we've been trying to keep our culture alive and making sure that everyone is still living up to the values and showing those, even though they're not in front of each other all the time. And I think that has carried on well. So I think by just coming back to the office, I think it will bring it up a level a bit more, and also just being able to do some social stuff again together. I think that's something that as a business, just as much as we do planned social events, so much social stuff just happens because the team genuinely like each other and want to go to the pub after work or want to go and do something together. So I think the opportunity to start doing those things will make a difference, and I just think it's going to be a balance going forward. But I've been pleasantly surprised at how well we've been able to keep that culture feeling alive remotely.
Yeah, I think, I don't know if you sort of from your client base, but I think we had a lot of clients that were very pre-COVID, were very much don't do video conferencing, not really interested. It's and it may not be 100% the same as a sort of face to face, but I think people are sort of surprised actually about how well it can work as well. Have you seen the same sort of shift as well?
100%. Yeah, actually, I put a long post on LinkedIn yesterday of just reflecting on it. There you go.
There we go. There he is.
Just the fact that we've onboarded we've onboarded I think about 10 clients since lockdown started, and a couple of those have been ones where I feel like I've nurtured a really lovely relationship with a few people that I have never met in person.
Yeah.
I feel like we've got a really nice relationship to the point that when we can meet for a glass of wine or for something, that it will just feel really natural and not like it's the next time we've met, and that surprised me, because I think go back like pre-lockdown, if someone had said to me, do you think you could do most of your business just through video call, I'd have been like, I really don't think so. But you can, and I think the only danger is, and the thing that I personally struggle with, is booking too many calls in being back to back and then really struggling for time to do any actions from those calls. And I think whereas previously, like, you could only do 2 or 3 meetings a day because you had to travel in between, etc.
Yeah.
You're like, it's a half an hour slot there, I'll book you in, and then you're like, oh, I've booked everything. I've got no time to even pop to the loo if I need to.
Yeah. It's the downside, isn't it? You can just go from one to the other. So there's pros and the cons. That's kind of like the productivity that we talked about. It's great, but actually the almost overload as well. The danger of actually just overloading your brain and not having any kind of decompression time where you can just like go, travel from point A to point B.
Yeah, I think so. And but I do think it's amazing for the planet. Like, if we can be traveling around the world so much and get stuff done from our homes or from our offices, not too distant from our homes, then I mean, it's pretty amazing compared to the world we were in before. I mean, I could easily be in London 5 days a week. Even the week before lockdown, I think I was in London 5 days a week. And you think, go from that to I haven't been back to London since, because there hasn't been a need to, and you just think that's amazing how we shifted so quickly.
Absolutely, yeah, no, and it has been achievable and possible, absolutely, which is great. I'm just going to jump to this over here, which is status quote, and this just gives me a bit of, and the viewers, a bit of an idea of the types of quote that you like, and obviously as a a business owner, you must absolutely have seen your fair share of these quotes over the years. So let's just have a look at what we've got here. So it's snog, marry, avoid. Which one do you want to snog, marry, and which one to avoid? Let's have a look at these quotes and see which one you like. So 80% of success is showing up, from Woody Allen. Quote number 2. You can never cross the ocean until you have the courage to lose sight of the shore, Christopher Columbus. That's an interesting one. Quote number 3. There's only one way to avoid criticism: do nothing, say nothing, and be nothing, Aristotle. So we've got a real mix there. We've got some contemporary, we've got some sort of, what's that? Was that the 18th century, 17th century voyages? And we have something from Greek philosophy as well. So what do we think?
So I love that middle one. I think that's my absolute favourite of the 3. You never cross the ocean until you have the courage to lose sight of the shore. That just like thinking of starting a business and that kind of thing, you do just have to have the courage to go, it's okay, we've got to dive in here, give it a go. And if you don't, if you're kind of always clinging back, you're never going to do it, are you?
And if you knew how rough the seas were ahead, again, you'd probably stay on the land, wouldn't you?
Yeah. True. So I love that one. And 80% of success is showing up is good as well. Because I think, you've got to show up and you've got to be ready, haven't you? But absolutely. I think I'm not loving the avoiding criticism, because criticism's obviously it's the chosen word for the quote, but is the wrong word. Like, it is feedback, isn't it? And feedback is so important. Like, it needs to be delivered in the right way. But actually, we want this criticism, we want feedback to help us get better. So actually, that's the one to ditch, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. And Joni in chat quite like Christopher Columbus's quote. So yes, I think there's popularity for that middle one. So we're saying we're loving the middle one, we like the top one, and we're going to avoid the criticism one. Interesting.
Got it.
Yes, nice. No, it's good. And is there a quote that you have kind of? I mean, I have a few that I kind of keep to I keep in my head as the quotes that I quite like. Is there anything that sort of jumps out at you that you've kind of kept, in your mind during the last nearly 10 years of running the business?
I think for me, managing expectations, like I say that daily, I'm sure. Yeah. Absolutely daily, because at the end of the day, like in the world we live in, that's the number one thing as an agency we have to do. And if you get that bit wrong, then you've upset someone for no reason at all, because they've gone and assumed what they think is going to happen, and you've not helped them to expect what's going to happen. So yeah, I live by that, and just kind of under promising and over delivering. Like, don't make it too difficult for yourself. Don't go, I'll do that 9 a.m. tomorrow, you'll have it, when you know, oh my word, that's going to be an absolute challenge, and they probably don't need it for 9 a.m. tomorrow. Absolutely. Find out when they need it, manage those expectations, and then actually, if you can deliver it at 9 a.m, you're going to look like a superstar, and you've gone over and above at that point.
Absolutely. Create that wiggle room. Give yourself some wiggle room. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So what are the things on your that you may have been doing on a personal level over the last couple of months that you're looking to carry on, take forward into the new world when we kind of reach it? If we are in it, we might be in it. I don't really know.
Yeah, who knows? I don't think we'll ever know. But yeah, for me, definitely working out more. So I've at the start of lockdown started like using my lounge to work out, and then we've ended up converting our garage into a bit of a gym.
Awesome.
And it's like how I start my day every day now, and I love it, and nothing will make me give that up. Like, obviously on the odd day if I need to, I will, but I feel good for it, and I feel better for it. I've got more energy for it, and I love it. So that is super important to me.
Awesome. So someone just now quoted me. Thanks for that, Alex, I believe. Just making sure that's now a quote for the ages. Give yourself some wiggle room, Luke Quilter, 2020. But yeah, no, I mean, that's amazing, isn't it? Not free time, but the almost the commute time that would have been spent sitting in a car or a train or whatever it might be, getting some exercise and kind of doing something good for yourself has been quite nice, I think.
Definitely.
Yeah, absolutely. Just before we wrap things up, were there any other businesses that you wanted to give a shout out to? Some people that you've been doing a great job that have been either giving away that value, stick true to the sorts of stuff that you guys have been doing. Hopefully, we've been doing, sharing that value, giving some inspiration, innovation for those businesses. Anybody you wanted to kind of give a shout out to?
So I'd say my hero of lockdown and everything we've been going through has definitely been Daniel Dela Cruz, who's actually he's not at Agency Collective anymore, but he was Agency Collective for most of lockdown, and he is just an utter superstar, and he's been so inspirational, I think, and I think he's helped so many agencies sleep better at night through this period. And I just think it's a tough job, actually, being a kind of a mentor or a business coach or in any of those types of roles for people in a time like this, because you probably don't have the answers yourself. You're trying to work it out as you go along, or you can't pull something out of your back pocket that you've done before. And just he's been fantastic, and yeah, he's my lockdown superstar.
Amazing. Right, that's an awesome way to wrap things up and conclude. Becky, thank you very much for joining the show, and best of luck with the coming months and the bumps that lie ahead, no doubt, as well as we move hopefully past this, but then no doubt into something else.
Definitely, and thank you so much for having me. It's been really good fun.
Pleasure, great. Guys, that is it from us today. Thank you very much for tuning in. We will be back again on Friday. We have got Steve Howard from Finally. He has promised to do some singing on the show. It's hot off the press. He will be doing some singing on the show. He's going to make it look like a surprise, but he's committed to it. So please do tune in. We'll be back again Friday 4:30. Don't miss it. Across all the different social channels. Thanks very much, and see you. Hope you enjoy the show. We're living in some strange times, but for all of us, it's just business as unusual.